So, if you've followed my channel for any length of time, you probably know that one of my pet peeves is misinformation. And I've done a few videos now where I've basically looked at misinformation that's been put out there and shown why it's wrong and shown what the actual facts are in that particular case. Now, this is no different. The thing with this one, which I find especially concerning, is that this is actually misinformation put out by mainstream media. And the thing is, this isn't the first time they've done this. If you followed the Kylie Rodney case, then you may have seen the Fox 40 interview that was done with Kylie's former boyfriend, Jagger Westfall. And yet, when Fox 40 did this interview, they basically announced him as being Kylie's boyfriend, which caused endless confusion and still does to this day. People saying, well, Fox 40 said he was her boyfriend, so somebody must be lying. Or maybe the media got it wrong. So I've heard comment a few times, and I did see a video somewhere where a creator was claiming that Stearns took Maddie to the vape store. And I was like, I'm just going to ignore that. But it's come up again, it's reared its head. A few people have commented about it in the comment sections of some of my previous videos. So I thought, okay, I need to go find this Fox News article and see what they're saying, see if people are just misinterpreting what they're saying, or see if they are putting out misinformation. So let's start with looking at that, and then we'll have a look at what the actual truth is.
Marie, what else did you find in those news documents?
John, the date of the initial report is exactly 1 year ago today. And after exactly a year, we are still learning new details about this case. Madeline Soto's mother reported the girl missing after she didn't come home from school. Stephen Stearns, the boyfriend of Maddie's mom, told police he dropped Maddie off at school that day. He says afterward he went to a vape shop. Here's the story we've heard Stearns tell before.
After you dropped her off, did you go directly to the smoke shop?
I did. I went directly to the smoke shop.
But in an interview newly released to Fox 35, he changes his story, saying Maddie was asleep in the car when he stopped the vape shop.
How was she positioned in the front seat?
Leaned back in the seat, just kind of conked out napping.
Where was her head in relation to the seat?
Against the seat, I think. Against it.
Was the seat leaning back? Or
the seat was leaning back. Yeah, she had leaned the seat back so that she could recline in.
The Orange County Sheriff's Office had found surveillance video they believed showed Maddie the morning she was reported missing, sitting in the front seat of Stearns' car, slumped over to her left. Quote, an abnormal way for a person to be seated, the report says. Fox 35 just learned from newly released documents a canine search of that vehicle alerted to chemicals in the front seat found specifically when human bodies are decomposing.
So this is really, really sloppy reporting. They basically used the audio clip from the second interview that Myra Tagler did with Stefan, but they've used it on its own without anything there to give context. Now, admittedly, before this particular clip, there was more discussion of the vape store. But if you actually had listened carefully to the clip, then you will hear that the discussion was actually about when Stefan went back for the fob, or claimed that he was going back for the fob, because we know that actually he had it in the car all the time, and he just couldn't make it work for some reason. So basically it is referring to when he returned to the townhouse, long before going to the vape store. So let's listen to the original audio, but I will just replay that little snippet from Fox first so that you can hear that it is exactly the same, and I will let it run on to the actual audio.
Was she positioned in the front seat?
leaned back in the seat, just kind of conked out napping.
Where was her head in relation to the seat?
Against the seat, I think. Against it.
Was the seat leaning back or
The seat was leaning back. Yeah, she had leaned the seat back so that she could recline and
when you came back for the fob, did she go inside with you?
no, she was in the car still. She was asleep.
Where in the car?
Passenger side.
The front seat.
Correct.
Okay. Did she at any point go in the back of the vehicle, like in the back seat?
No.
So she was in the front the whole time? Mm-hmm. Awake or asleep?
She was asleep.
Okay.
She was conked out. We had gotten up her.
How was she positioned in the front seat?
Leaned back in the seat, just kind of conked out napping.
Where was her head in relation to the seat?
Against the seat, I think. Against it. Just
Was the seat leaning back or
the seat was leaning back. Yeah, she had leaned the seat back so that she could recline and
So it is, of course, rather convenient that Fox decided to put that little transcript alongside their audio, so it just makes it easier to show that you are listening to the exact same audio. So when you actually listen to it in full, you hear Detective Tagler, not police officer as referred to by Fox 40, you hear Detective Tagler actually asking him in relation to when he went back for the fob, did Maddie go inside with him? And he says no, she stayed in the car. And that's when it moves on to this conversation of how Maddie was positioned. This has absolutely nothing to do with the vape store. You can hear it clearly when you listen to the original recording. Unfortunately, it seems that either the reporter has been incredibly sloppy and not actually listened properly to the audio that she was reporting on, or for some reason they've decided to try and create, breaking news. Look, this audio was exclusively given to Fox 40. Well, no, it wasn't exclusively given to Fox 40. It was made available to anyone who put in a FOIA report. So, and it was made available a long time ago. So they definitely need to have a look at how their reporters do their research when it comes to audio. Now, the other bit of misinformation on this clip, like 2 bits of information, both bits of information were wrong. The other thing they claimed was that the dog alerted to Stefan's car. Well, I thought, now that's curious. Did I miss something in the documents? So before I actually took a closer look at the document that they were sharing, I went through the documents and pulled out the report from the canine handler, meaning that is the key report to be looking at for information with regards to what the dog's alerted to. And this is what it said in that report. Now, I apologise for those of you who are after the 2 larger documents on my Patreon. I will have another go at uploading them. Sometimes Patreon is a real pain when it comes to uploading larger things. And I tried multiple times last week to upload those documents and it just sat there. It didn't like them because of the size. I will upload this one report so that at least you can have a look at this report for yourselves, because it's hard to see it if you're looking at it on a small screen. So I'm going to read the second paragraph, which is talking about doing the sweeps of the 2 vehicles. So at 20:05 hours, so at 5 minutes past 8, I conducted a sweep of the first vehicle, which was a 2010 silver Lincoln bearing a Florida tag of IYLL82, K9 Archer did not give a final alert to the 2010 silver Lincoln. At 22:10 hours, so at 10 past 10, I then conducted a sweep of a 2022 Nissan sedan which had a Florida tag attached. Upon conducting the sweep, Canine Archer showed a change in behaviour, then gave a final alert by the rear passenger wheel well. I informed Corporal Richards of the results. The sweeps were recorded on my agency-issued body-worn camera. And we've seen those clips with the dogs, or with Archer, checking out both those vehicles. I won't add them in here, but if you want to go check them out, they're in my case file playlist. So there, you can go find them there if you want to. But it says quite clearly in this report by the canine handler that Archer did not alert to the Lincoln. Now, I am going to do a video talking about that at a later date, but the point here is that Fox News have misreported and have come up with this fiction idea of the dogs alerting to Jen's car. And that has now changed, that has morphed. It's a bit of that whole, what's that game? Chinese Whispers. So the information that's now being shared is that the dog alerted to the passenger seat of the Lincoln. None of it is actually correct. Now, let's have a look at the document that Fox 40 was showing when they were claiming that the dog alerted to the Lincoln. Now, this is about as sloppy as you can get, if you ask me. So they've shown this paragraph. Once the information was received in reference to the license plate reader hits. In other words, they're probably talking about Northport. I haven't pulled up this full report. Somebody's vehicle, Florida tag, a white four-door Nissan. In other words, Jennifer's vehicle, Florida tag, redacted, a white four-door Nissan, was located at the hotel and towed to the Orange County Sheriff's Department. While at the Orange County Sheriff's Department, a cadaver dog was walked around the vehicle and gave a positive indication on Jennifer's vehicle, indicating that there was a presence of chemicals which are present during the decomposition phase of a human body. Based on this information, it is believed that could be a victim of homicide. A search warrant for Jennifer's vehicle was authored and executed, and Maddie was not located inside the vehicle. So you can see it is stated quite clearly here that they are referring to the white Nissan, not the Lincoln. And you can tell it is exactly the same person they're referring to because you look at the redactions, and the redactions are exactly the same size. It's quite clear to... Blind Freddy can see that this paragraph is referring to the white Nissan. It is not referring to the Lincoln. And yet, Fox have turned it into a news story where they've got the facts completely wrong. So, no, when you look at the original report by the dog handler, you can see the dog did not alert to the Lincoln. The dog alerted to the Nissan. That's Jen's car, not Stefan's car. And had this reporter done her research adequately, then she would know that that's what this is referring to. So I find it really sad that mainstream media could be so sloppy with their reporting. So this is, of course, a rather short but sweet video, but I thought it was important just to put that little bit of misinformation to bed, because it drives me nuts. It totally drives me nuts. There's so much information that's been released. It's Florida. You can get hold of any information pretty much that you need with this case. Well, not quite any, but most of it. And these people have accessed documents, they've accessed audio, and they have completely misinterpreted it. Either that, or they have deliberately interpreted it to get themselves a story. Either way, it is wrong, and the fact that it's mainstream media really ticks me off. Now, I haven't watched the video that was made by the other creator where apparently they claimed here's proof that the dogs alerted to Jen's car or something. Oh no, here's proof of the vape store story. But hopefully that person actually did their due diligence and was only using the title to draw people in, and they actually debunked the whole story themselves, because it would be disappointing to think that another creator has run with misinformation that's been put out by a news media source, given that most of the creators who are covering this case know so much more about this case than any of the news media do. So on that note, I'll bring this to an end. So thanks for listening. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe. Also, please hit the like button and leave your comments below. Thank you, and I will catch you in the next one.